This is a Your Last Resorts production.
And welcome back to the Your Last Resort podcast with your host, Brandon Legendre, aka the Shoe Comic, episode 52, 1 year. Guys, I can't believe it. I listen to a lot of podcasts and I understand that I'm sure some people are like, we don't want to hear it. Like, you're just saying this to be nice, or you're saying this to please the listeners, or whatever. But um it's wild. It's wild. You know, 2 years ago, I was living in Kentucky playing football, kind of finding out that I was not going to be a pro and that wasn't going to happen. And that dream was fading and I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was so sad and depressed. The only thing that made me happy was watching stand up and listening to podcasts, the Bill Burr, the Monday morning podcast, Your Mom's House, Wax's podcast, all those, the OGs of what I listened to were what got me through that time. And I remember thinking I wanted to be a comic so bad. And I wanted to be I wanted to have my own podcast so bad. And a year later, shoot, man, 52 episodes. I missed a week. This is not me talking shit on anyone by any means, but there's a lot of comics who I have seen who have started a podcast during quarantine like I did, and theirs died out. There's people's that podcasts are, once every few weeks, very inconsistent, missing, not getting new guests, all that kind of stuff. And I'm patting myself a little bit on the back here, but to go 52 weeks straight and have listeners increasing and have certain episodes, do crazy numbers, some do a little less, but always more and more people coming and checking out the podcast and the fans growing and learning about people who I would never have expected to listen to my podcast, listening every week. I mean, guys, I'm not going to take the time. I don't even have actually the recording of my first episode. It's not even on the laptop that I use now. But the fact that if you go back and listen to the first episode, I say, welcome to the podcast. I'll be so happy if 4 people a week listen to this. And I've exceeded those numbers. And I can't believe it that whoever you are listening to this right now, that you felt that my voice and my opinions and my thoughts and my stupid jokes and all the dumb shit I say and the would you rathers and the desserts and all that nonsense was worth listening to. And everyone in the squad, I love you. And holy crap, if you're a 52-week listener, you've listened to all 52 episodes, I love you. If it wasn't COVID, I'd kiss you on the mouth. I love you so much. But guys, I just wanted to have a little tiny prelude just to thank all the fans and the squad, because you guys aren't even fans. You're the squad. You're family. I fucking love you guys. I'm beyond thankful. This podcast has been a place for me to vent, a place for me to say my feelings, share stuff. It's been a tough week. I lost my childhood friend, my best friend, my dog, Zoe, RIP. And it was hard, dude, and it's still hard. I'm even trying not to get choked up talking about it right now. But coming on here, I forget all my problems. I have fun. I love all my guests. The solo episodes have been fun and wild. All my guests have been fun. I think back, I'm not going to name favorite guests because I loved everyone and any guest that's been on. I'd actually really love it if you guys took the time to message me some of your favorite guests. Just, it's fun to hear, fun to interact with fans and all that. But dude, it's the 52nd 1 year episode. We have an awesome guest, Teddy Gallagher. He's a linebacker from Coastal Carolina, number 34. Coastal Carolina just went 13-1 last season, and their defense was spearheaded by a linebacker who's Teddy. And if you don't mind, you might know him from social media and stuff as the guy with the mullet. He rocks a bleach blonde mullet. It's fucking badass. He tells we get the whole mullet origin story, the whole mullet cinematic universe. We get the whole story of that. That's going to be the title of the episode, Mullet Cinematic Universe. And yeah, it's so much fun. It's a great episode. You guys are going to love it. I love you guys. Love you so much. We still got stickers, shirts, all that kind of stuff. Check the links. Hit me up for the stickers. They're free shirts. You may got to pay for them a little. They're not through me. Through another company that was, another awesome guest. I'm so thankful, guys. So excited for where this podcast is going to go. 100 more years of this shit. I love you, squad. Most importantly, thank you for letting me be your last resort. Enjoy the episode. And welcome back to Your Last Resort podcast with your host, Brandon Legendre, aka the Shoe Comic. Guys, it's an exciting episode. We were at the 1 year episode, haven't missed a week, episode 52. And joining me, my special guest for the 1 year episode is Costal Carolina linebacker Teddy Gallagher. Thank you for joining us, man. I appreciate it.
No problem, man.
So we for the listeners who don't know, he plays at Costal Carolina. He's the linebacker there. And you played at Pasadena Junior College. That's where we kind of ran into, or it was Glendale, right? Glendale Community College.
Glendale, yeah.
Yeah, my bad. We played each other there in JUCO and kind of got to know each other from that, and then I've followed your career and all that throughout this. It's good to see you doing well, man. I appreciate you being on again. What we kind of do with our guests to kind of break the ice, get people into it, is I start with a would you rather. So I got a would you rather for you right now.
All
right. This one's football related. I kind of tried to think back, thinking what could be worse. Would you rather do 20 gassers or 400 yards of Hawaiian rolls?
What are Hawaiian rolls?
Okay, they're like all different kinds of names. So Hawaiian roll is like, did you ever have to lay down basically at one end of the field and
roll? And then roll down the field? Yeah. I'd rather do gassers. We just call them rolls.
Okay, rolls. Yeah, I don't know why we call them Hawaiian rolls. There's nothing tranquil or peaceful about them.
No, those are the worst. I mean, we've had we do those as we've never done those as like conditioning. Those have always been kind of punishment oriented things, and that's the worst spins you'll ever get is just rolling down the field. It's like you feel it in your stomach. It's terrible. I definitely run gassers any day of the week.
And here's the thing is to put it, for those of you who don't know, like he said, rolls or Hawaiian rolls, you start at one end zone and you just roll, and you probably do like 400 or 500 yards of them. And it sounds easy, but by 100 yards, you're sick to your stomach, and Absolutely. It's so bad. And I think a testament to the fact that how terrible they are is gassers vary too. Some people, it's like just one side and back, half and back, a quarter, like 4 times back is one. It doesn't matter which one it is. I'd rather do that than rolls.
100%. I hate rolls with a passion.
They're evil. They're just meant to have you throw up. That's the only reason you do them.
You're not getting better at rolling. You're just suffering. That's all it is.
Exactly. In high school, we used to have a punishment wheel in our coach's office where it was like a bunch of spots and there was a tiny little sliver that said free, and the rest were just like awful punishments. And we got in trouble. We had to roll it, and we hit 499 yards of Hawaiian rolls, and the 9 fell off. And we were like, let's go. We only get to do 49. And he was like, all right, I'll let you guys do 50 yards of Hawaiian rolls. In that 50 yards, 7 people got stung by bees and 3 people got hives. Like, they're cursed. They're meant to be terrible no matter what.
That's terrible.
It was tough. I agree with you though. I think that's the worst form of conditioning. Stadiums are terrible, but they're just, like you said, they don't live up to just how terrible Hawaiian rolls are.
No, they're awful.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go with the same one as you, man. All right, well, I want to talk to you more about your season. Congrats on the good season. What did you guys finish? 13-1 or something like that?
We finished 11-1.
11-1.
I think we ended the year like number 15 in the AP poll.
That's awesome. Yeah, it was super cool, man. It was fun. I actually was able to watch a few games, and I would tell people, I'd be like, yeah, bro, Coastal Carolina's sick. I know someone on the team. Like, don't really know you, but it's a cool flex to lie to people and tell that I do. I mean, for those who don't know you, and maybe they're getting to know you right now, do you still have the mullet? Are you still rocking the mullet?
Oh yeah.
Yep. It's awesome. Okay, I have so many questions about the mullet itself. Like this whole little segment I have off right now is just mullet questions. So when did you start growing the mullet? And like when were you like, I'm gonna have a mullet? Like you made that commitment.
So it was kind of, so when we got shut down, like we were over spring break when everything got shut down, like,
Yeah.
and so me and all, like I have there's 5 guys that lived in this house, and then we were pretty much just like locked up in this house pretty much, and like we were thinking of stuff to do, and like we were just like everyone was growing out their facial hair, growing out their hair, and then like it was, I think it was Silas Kelly, he's one of the other linebackers. He's the one who originally said like we should do mullets, and then we were like, all right, let's do it, and then it kind of just compounded where like by the end of the season, it was, I think we had like I don't know, a quarter of the team had mullets, and then I took it a step further and bleached mine, but yeah, everyone kind of got on board with it. And, our head coach, Coach Chadwell, is, he said if we won the conference, he'd grow a mullet, so he's starting his right now.
That's so cool. That's damn, what an awesome trend. How long did it take you to grow? So like you had just kind of had long hair over spring break and then decided to just shave it into the mullet?
Yeah, it took probably like three months for it to be like, okay, that's a mullet. Like before, it was just kind of like a little bit longer in the back, but then like after 3 months, like once we got closer to summers, like everyone, they were mullets what we had.
That's what's up. Was there like a point, because like you said, you have that 3-month period, and it's like growing out long hair or anything like that. There's that period where it doesn't look like you want it to look. How were there points where you were like, this is a mistake, like I got to shave this off?
Not really, because like we weren't interacting with anybody. Like we were just locked up in this house. You had no one to impress. So it's like,
yeah, fair enough.
We were just growing our hair out, looking like fools.
Dude, that's awesome. The mullet was like crafted in like the perfect environment. You were bored, and then you didn't see anyone, so there was no one to discourage it. It like grew in the shadows and became a national icon. When did, like, okay, so you said, we're getting the timeline down for those who are listening and not watching the podcast. He has like a bleach blonde mullet with like the sides are, normal hair color, so it's badass looking. I think there's a certain swagger you have to pull off the mullet. But so we're getting a timeline. You said it kind of grew to normal in June and July. When did people kind of start being like, because people love the mullet now. It's a thing at Coastal Carolina. I see it on social media, just all over the place. When did the love for it kind of start to come?
It didn't start to come until we started winning. I think it was no one really cared until like after the Kansas game. I went on I was on the Marty and McGee podcast. And then they love the mullet, and they shouted it on their show, and then that's when people really started the dig.
That's what's up. Okay, yeah. So then it kind of grew after that. All right, I have so many questions. Okay, for the first one that I want to ask is, as someone who's been on the field, do you get a lot? Do people talk a lot of shit to you for it? Like, do a lot of players give you shit for it, or is it kind of have so much respect now that it's stopped?
Not a lot of people say stuff on the field about the mullet, but I get a lot of people on social media, like people like tweeting out before the game. They'd be like, if we beat you guys, like you gotta shave your head and stuff like that, and just like a bunch of stuff like that.
That's awesome. Damn, yeah. I guess that makes sense. People not talking shit on it. How many have you gotten the tweet or like the thing like, great player, not so sure about the hair? I feel like I've heard coaches say that a million times about different people.
I haven't heard that from I think a lot of people on like the commentators and stuff, they kind of ran with it. They love the mullet, and yeah, I mean, I don't think I've heard anything like that.
No, that's what I'm saying about like what's cool is I was saying like the swagger to rock a mullet, because it's a good thing. Like people like it. It's like your signature look. It's fun. It started off as a fun thing. Like this went well, but the like there's people that will wear a mullet and just get kind of shamed for it, and it's embarrassing, and it looks, I think you managed to rock it right. Is I think I saw this on Twitter. Are fans starting to make mullets and rock fake mullets now too?
Yeah, it was by the end of the season, like
Yeah.
like looking up at the stands, like people had like the fake blonde mullets, like they had mullet wigs, and like all the signs were about the mullets, and like, you know, the whole mullets versus Mormons thing, that kind of made it take off even more than it already was.
Yeah, wow. How this is a weird question. How often can you wash the mullet? Is it all the time, or is it a lot of upkeep with the bleach and the helmet and
Yeah,
all that stuff?
it's definitely with the bleach, it's a lot more upkeep because, you know, bleach
Hmm.
like damages your hair and all that stuff, and so you kind of have to stay on top of it so it doesn't, you know, lock up on you.
That's just so you got like your own personal stylist out there for you, is what you're telling us?
Uh, yeah, you could say that, I guess. You know, you can't really bleach it yourself. That's it kind of be hard to get it back there and stuff like that.
No, I totally get you. Have you ever thought about making it another color besides bleach blonde? Like, you ever thought about throwing in some like Coastal Carolina colors or anything like that?
I had a lot of people tell me that I should throw some teal in there, like that's our color, teal, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know about that. That's
Yeah, it might be a little too much, you know? Like,
yeah,
so, you know, it could
yeah,
be sick, but you might,
yeah,
like, you've been towing the line of like
yeah,
danger, and you
yeah,
might
for sure.
finally
Yeah.
finally cross it. The teal would be cool. You could when the NCAA starts letting you get paid, you should like rent out advertisements to like put on the shaved part of your head, like shave that shit in.
Right here.
I'll
Yeah.
yeah, I'll Venmo you like $5 to put that little mushroom cloud up in it. Oh shoot, man. All right. God, I don't want to forget any mullet questions because I was so excited to ask you about it. How okay, last one, I promise. How often do you have to like trim it and clean it up? And like, do you shave the sides every week? Do you trim the back? Has it been a lot, like what's that kind of like?
So I'd say once every couple of weeks, like I go get the sides shaved a little bit and then take a little bit off the top. And really the only thing in the back is because, like, you know, the way my hair grows, sometimes it'll start to grow out this way.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just try to keep it like this so it doesn't start to, you know, flare out like that. And
Okay,
so, yeah, but you know, not really too much off like the length in the back.
I get you. Okay. All right, man. Well, I am out of mullet questions for now. I can't promise that I won't come up with more later, but I want to move into the first segment of the podcast. This one's called the Avid Deserter. So this segment is where I ask my guests their 3 favorite desserts, their least favorite. We talk about it a little. I'm a huge dessert guy. I know that you might not eat a lot of desserts being the D1 athlete that you are, but uh let me hear them. And all I ask is don't be like a square and be like ice cream, cookies, and cake. Tell me what kind of ice cream. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, I got you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
appreciate it.
So I'd say, you know, I thought about this, and I'd say that my first favorite is I'm a huge fan of Ben and Jerry's half baked ice cream.
Classic.
That's one of my favorite ice creams, I'd say. And
Okay.
I'm also a huge fan of frozen Thin Mints. You take a box of Thin Mints, Girl Scout
Okay.
cookies, and put them in the freezer, and
I,
that's pretty elite. And
I'm gonna be honest. I'm a Thin Mint hater, man. I'm sorry, but
really, so
I I
what's your Girl Scout cookie?
oh the Samoas or the caramel delights, whatever you don't
Yeah,
like those.
I'm a huge Samoa's fan, and honestly,
Uh-huh.
I've gotten a lot of flack for that. People don't like the Samoas, and I don't
It's
get
the
why.
coconut. People hate on coconut. They have weak palates.
I think Samoas are amazing.
Yeah.
And then we have a I don't know if they had this in Kentucky, but it's a fast food chain called Cookout. Do they have?
Yes, dude. Yes. Okay. I just had another guy on the podcast last week who's like a football player, traveled, and I was just talking to him about Cookout and how it does not exist out here on the West Coast. You're
Yeah,
an LA guy. Cookout. Oh, I could do a whole podcast on how amazing Cookout is. It's
Cookout's
so good.
incredible. And so I'd say my third favorite like dessert item is Cookout milkshakes.
Mm,
They're amazing.
unmatched.
Yeah,
Well, and they're so good. And I was so mad I didn't find this out till like the end of my time in Kentucky, you can mix flavors and shit. Like you can get as many. I didn't know that. So then all of a sudden, like it upped the game. They're so good, and you can only do you eat them with a spoon?
Yeah, I don't think you can't eat them with a straw.
I've never seen it. I've never seen anyone. Did you guys have? Oh man, did you guys have seasonal flavors at your cookout or no?
Yes, we did.
Okay, it was like ours was like watermelon and
that was like during the summer, and then
okay.
The one that's really good that it's like September, October. They do like the chocolate chip cookie dough one. That one's really good.
Oh yeah, that one. Oh dude, those the shakes are so good. Such good late night food for such a deal that is almost impossible to find out here in California.
Yeah, it's like you can get a burger, a quesadilla, and like a ranch wrap. And it's like where else can you get a burger and a quesadilla in a tray? And it's like
and you throw the milkshake on. It's like they're like, oh, that'll be $6.50. You're like, what?
Yeah,
it's insane.
Are you sure?
Hey, the first time you went there, did someone walk you through it and order the tray, or did you order individuals like a dumbass like I did?
No, they told me that you got to get the tray.
You got nicer teammates and friends than me, man. I was over here like I was like, I'll take a BLT and a soda, and like no one informed me. And then like my third visit, I was like, I'll take a BLT, and they're like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Do you not know what a cookout tray is? And then my life changed forever.
Yeah.
Cookout trays are dangerous though, because you can get you can get real fat off those cookout trays real quickly.
For sure. Yeah.
I used to love, like, if you cramped at practice and like you had low electrolytes, I don't even know if this is like a good thing, but our trainer was like, you need to put a lot of calories in you, and he would like advise players to go to Cookout after practice and stuff. So you had like the doctor's orders to get Cookout. I don't know if that and maybe that's why we had like 3 wins or 4 wins, but could be a mixture of other things. So those are your top 3. What's your least favorite?
I think something that I've never liked is, this might be wrong, but whenever you get like a cake and then there's like strawberries and like blueberries on it, and it's like I'm getting it, like if I wanted fruit, I'd get fruit. Like why are you putting fruit on my cake?
Okay.
Like when they have them like all on the top, it's like separate those things. Those things don't belong together in my mind.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, it can get too extra. Yeah. No one's ever said that as at least favorite, but I like when there's new ones. I'm not saying it's a bad one, because cake is a very I call it a hot button issue on here, because it's very hit or miss. Some people hate cake, some people love it, especially when you get
what's the most popular dessert that people don't like? Like what's like
it would be chocolate cake or creme brulee. People hate those more than anything, surprisingly.
I don't think I've had creme brulee in my entire life.
You're not okay. I'm on the side of that. I think they're kind of whack. It comes in like those little ramekins, and it costs like way more. Like it is for like a person like me or you, it is a 3 or 4 bite thing that's gonna cost you like $15, because they're fancy, and they take like a custard and take sugar on top and like fry it with a torch, so the sugar caramel like crystallizes, so it's like a hard top, and you break it into pudding, but it's literally like a layer of pudding and then sugar on top, and it's just kind of over. It's not like, I don't think you eat it and you're like, this is disgusting, but you're like, I can't believe I spent $15 on this.
Yeah.
And
also,
then,
I just thought of another one.
Let me hear.
Those one that I like is I forget what restaurant. It's like those skillet cookies with the ice cream on top, like those.
Pazookies from BJ's. I don't Okay, there we go.
Yes, those things are incredible.
I DoorDashed one of those like 2 nights ago at midnight. Yeah, so I feel those. Yeah, those are really good. That's one that I think a few people have said are their favorite. But yeah, it's always that. And like, a few people have said black licorice, which I like hate. You ever had black licorice?
Yeah, does that count as a dessert though? I don't.
I see the thing. Yeah, I don't know if I count it either. Like, I mean, I don't know. It just is like so gross. I never eat it. So it's not even like my
Yeah.
least favorite. I would just never
Yeah.
consume
Yeah,
that.
I would never choose it. Never choose that.
Yeah, my least favorite is Jello. I'm not a fan of Jello.
Yeah.
It feels lazy to me, you know? It's lazy. It's for old people and medicine. It's just they'll bring that into the kitchen, you know?
Yeah.
There's a million other what about this is another it's I'm enjoying revisiting some other ones. What about red velvet cake? You like red velvet?
I'm a fan of red velvet cake.
Okay, that's another one where, and it was weird too. I swear, like 4 weeks in a row, someone was like, it's my top three, it's my least favorite, it's my top three, it's my least favorite. So that's another one where, and then we also spent several episodes trying to figure out what the flavor of red velvet cake is, because it's like
I think someone told me it was like chocolate. Someone
yeah,
told me that, but I'm
it's
not.
like chocolate and it's like cocoa powder and you add food coloring and there's a cream cheese icing. So it's weird because it's essentially just chocolate cake, but it's
Yeah.
like it's so different than chocolate cake. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what
Yeah.
the fuck makes the difference.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that was the Avid Deserter segment. I appreciate you answering that. Now, this is a question that I wanted to ask you. Being a California native, you know, you've traveled all over the country and stuff. You're now out in Carolina. Is In-N-Out still the best fast food burger that you've ever had?
Oh man.
Or has it been surpassed?
I don't know. That's tough. I mean, I love In-N-Out. It's definitely in the top three, but
Yeah.
I mean, I would say if we're just speaking burgers only, I think it might still be. But
Yeah.
if we're going for the whole fast food experience, I don't know if In-N-Out's in the number one spot. But if we're
That's
just
fair.
burgers itself,
It's number one in your burgers.
yeah, I think so. But also I really like Five Guys burgers, but those cost like $12.
That's
Like
the
it's
problem is the price that kills me.
It's terrible.
Yeah. In-N-Out, okay, I agree with you because it's like a straight up fast food chain. In-N-Out is not, because while their simplicity is awesome, that you're like, there's like, you know, the number one, the number two, and the number three, and there's variations, but that's like it's what it is at its core. It is not a place that you could eat at like all the time, or would be the last restaurant you like if you could only eat one fast food, because there's really only like burgers and patty melts. Like,
Yeah.
that's all you can get. So what's your favorite fast food then? Or give me your top three. I know that this is like spurring on you. If you need a second, I'll just start listing my three. I think mine, I know this is gonna be gross, but I gotta throw McDonald's in there. I like McDonald's, dude.
I think you have to. I mean,
and there's just such a variety, and it's classic. I might go Popeyes, because I got like a chicken set one, and that's probably my favorite chicken set one. And then third, I'm trying to think of something I'd have to eat forever. Like, I guess I'd put maybe Cookout in there, because it's at least there's another big variety there in Cookout.
Yeah, I'd say Cookout's definitely in my top three. McDonald's is definitely in my top three, and I don't know. I mean, if I go based off of which fast food place I eat the most, I might have to throw Wendy's in my top three, because we have a Wendy's like across the street from our house, and I'm always getting a Baconator.
Yeah, no, that's a big thing too, is like you said, because it's close. Like the other one I was thinking of putting in my top three was Jack in the Box, and that's just because there's a Jack in the Box is the closest fast food to my house, so it's always accessible and easy. Okay, so all right, so we're saying fast food burger still best is In-N-Out though.
Yeah, burger itself, In-N-Out.
For sure. Yeah, that's a good cross promotion, guys. If you're listening, I just put out a food review on In-N-Out, so go check that out. You know, a little cross promotion right there. Welcome back to your last review, and today we're doing In-N-Out. Just like the vaccine and beaches, over half the country can't enjoy In-N-Out. In-N-Out is a West Coast delicacy that has Southern inbreds and half-wits claiming that Whataburger is better. Listen, I won't be too biased. In-N-Out French fries are soggier than the waffles that I used to Google in elementary school. They say there's beauty in simplicity, which is exactly the case with In-N-Out. In-N-Out's like the hot person in a movie that you don't realize is hot until they take their glasses off.
It's just a pleasant surprise. I think In-N-Out haters are like guys hating on dudes with big dicks. Don't be mad just cause you don't have one. In-N-Out will always be one of my favorite places. Plus they gave my beautiful baby her last meal. R.I.P. Zoe. 1 million out of 10, and I didn't even make an In-N-Out sex joke. See you next week on Your Last Review.
We're gonna move into another segment. This one's called the Dumbass of the Week. The Dumbass of the Week brought to you by Red Foreman.
Dumbass, dumbasses, dumbass, 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 dumbass.
The Dumbass of the Week this week is the Patriots. I don't know if you've been following all, like, for those who are listening, we're filming this Monday night. So we just started free agency. Have you seen the money that they're unloading for players right now?
They're throwing some money out. For sure.
It feels like the person who like wins the lottery and they're like, keep that $5. I don't need this shit. Cause I mean, Jonnu Smith, 35 million guaranteed. They just signed Nelson Aguilar 2 years, 26 million. They signed the D tackle from the Dolphins. And they signed Jalen Mills from the Eagles, and they gave him like a shit ton of, like, a 4-year, like $35 million, 20 million guaranteed. So, and they gave Cam Newton like 20, or like, isn't it like 14, $15 million or something crazy like that?
Yeah, a lot of money too.
Yeah.
They're just giving it away. I mean, I guess because they got a whole bunch of cap space, I guess they just want to get rid of it or just like spend it all or try to get as many players as they can. But they're definitely. It seemed like earlier this morning when I was looking and seeing like where people were going, like everyone, like right when it started, like it was like Patriots on this guy, Patriots on this guy, Patriots on this guy, Patriots on this guy.
No, exactly, and it was it was weird. It was only them, and it's just one of those things where. Like if you're following the NFL all month, they've been telling us like the cap is going down. This free agency is going to be brutal. People are going to be getting underpaid. And then Jonnu Smith, like first off the board, getting paid that much and just signing all these people. I feel like in free agency, you're supposed to get like the guy, you want to grab the guy right before his prime and pay him and like cheap, not grab the guy coming out of his prime and paying him a ton. And I feel like that's all they did. Yeah.
But I mean, I'll never doubt Bill Belichick. He probably is about to make every single one of those guys all pro.
No, exactly. Yeah. I'm going to revisit this podcast next year, and I'm going to be thinking how Jonnu Smith had like 1,200 yards and 17 touchdowns, and Cam Newton was the MVP. Like Bill Belichick is just gonna make us look stupid.
Yeah, I mean that guy's unreal.
And you are you a Rams fan, or who do you follow?
So I kind of grew up a Raiders fan.
Okay.
But now I'm kind of partial to the Rams. I don't really have a favorite NFL team right now, but definitely like to see teams from LA win.
I get you. Yeah. And so you're a Lakers fan too, right?
Oh, big Lakers fan, yeah.
I just had to make sure you weren't a Clippers fan, man. That'd have been disappointing. Do you know a real Clippers fan? Are they real people?
I do. One of my best friends from high school. He's like he's a Clippers fan.
That sad son of a bitch. What a sad life that he's gonna live. Yeah. I'm glad that I am a Lakers fan and not a Clippers fan. Except, I don't know. What do you think about this year? With the Lakers, what do you think they're gonna do? I'm a little nervous right now.
Yeah, I mean, right now it doesn't look too good, but I think once AD comes back, it'll come back to what they were doing before he got hurt.
Yeah, and I mean, we definitely saw that. Like, we can't just have LeBron do it because when Schroeder was out, it was very clear that he needed like one more decent player. So yeah, I think they're just going to be careful with Anthony Davis. I heard he's going to be out another 3 weeks. They're just going to slowly evaluate him. Because I mean, if you're not the first seed, I guess it doesn't really matter if you're the second or the 8th seed in a sense. You're not going to have home.
Yeah,
you're not going to get that home field advantage. And then you're a Dodgers fan in baseball?
Yeah, big Dodgers fan.
I'm an Angels fan. So now I'm the sad son of a bitch because I don't know, what I mean? I was kind of like, I was happy that the Dodgers won, but my only defense against you and other Dodger fans, I could be like, at least I was alive to see my team win.
Yeah.
now the Angels haven't won since 2002. I was fucking 5 years old. Like I don't remember that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it
At least
it's
you're an Angels and Clippers fan.
yes, that's very true. There are people that are Angels and Clippers fans. All right, man. I want to move. I want to talk to you more about Coastal Carolina and like football as a whole and all that kind of stuff, and then we'll wrap up the podcast. What at Coastal Carolina? You've been there now 2 years, right?
This past season was my third season. I got one more.
Oh, okay, your third season, and then you get another. Did you have another year of eligibility, or was it more, or was it the whole like COVID? They gave people an extra year.
Yeah, it was the COVID year. We had really we kind of talked as like with like all the seniors and stuff like that, and we lost three guys, two starters,
Okay.
and like those two guys are guys that are going to be drafted in the NFL, and like not like free agent, like those guys are going to get drafted in the NFL, and then
Mhm.
everyone else, like we had a bunch of guys who like could have signed somewhere and stuff like that, but then like is literally everybody came back. Like we're returning 20 out of 22 starters, and it's like we're
Wow.
just trying to run it back.
Dude, yeah, that's awesome. That's gonna be great for you guys. I hope you guys run the table and do well. I'll be watching and rooting for you guys. Is if you're not, if you haven't thought this far, is NFL the goal? Is that what you're hoping to make the next step with you?
Yeah, that's the dream. I mean,
Okay.
like hopefully have another good year, and then get a shot somewhere.
What would you I like to ask this to athletes, would you be opposed to playing in some of the other leagues, or are you kind of an NFL only guy, whatever the
I
opportunity
mean,
presents?
I just with the new league like the XFL and stuff like that. Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, I'd play there. I just probably want to keep playing football after this next year.
That's what's up. Have you followed that fan controlled football league at all this year, or even
No,
heard of
I
it?
haven't. No, I've heard of it. I heard Johnny Manziel's playing in it, but I haven't watched any of it.
Yeah, man. It's I mean, it's a cool concept. It's like four teams playing arena football, and like famous people own it, and like I can give them like $5 and I can be like, run fucking dive right, and make them run plays and shit. But I was just they recently, like, Josh Gordon joined the league because I guess why not? And his like first game, he just was shitting on everyone, and he caught like a Hail Mary to win the game. And it reminded me of when they let like travel. You remember, like, you ever play any travel sports like that?
Yeah,
You remember when there was that team that, like, come the end of high school season, a bunch of high schoolers would come down and just beat your ass? Did you ever have teams like that, or no?
no.
Dude, I had teams growing up in like AAU basketball and baseball that it would come like the end of season, and all of a sudden all the people from the high school team would come play on these feeder teams, and we get like shit piled by high school kids. And that's what it felt like watching Josh Gordon play in this fan controlled football. Like, if you're bored, just at one point check out the Hail Mary he caught. He literally, like, he catches it and it pops up in the air, and then he's able to just reach up and grab it again because he's just so much bigger and stronger than everyone on the field. But that's
Yeah.
cool that's the
Probably
goal,
still
man.
be in the NFL.
What were you saying?
I said Josh Gordon should probably still be in the NFL.
Yeah, man, he got kind of screwed over with all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but I think I don't know. At this point, I feel like the NFL has made it clear that they're not willing to like be forgiveful or work with him. So
Yeah.
I think his career is just kind of done, which is pretty, it's a bummer to see an athlete like that just kind of fade out of the scene and all
Yeah.
that. But I wanted to ask you, what's your favorite game you've played in at Coastal Carolina out of your 3 years?
I'd probably have to say the BYU game. That
Okay.
game was because college game day was there and everything, and just like the atmosphere, and then like no one thought we were gonna win the game. We were like
It was a
11-point
phenomenal
underdogs.
game.
Yeah, we were 11-point underdogs, and everyone told us about how like they were that much bigger than us, that much better than us, and we didn't really have a shot, and we won the game, and it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, no, that was a great game. That's where the Mormons versus Mullets thing kind of began and took off and stuff. That's super dope. This is a good question that I wanted to ask you. You are a USC fan, correct? Or at least you were before. I don't know. You know, some people stop rooting for stuff when they go play at other colleges.
Yeah, I was a USC fan. I'm not really a USC fan anymore, but
Okay, because
was.
that was my question is if SC and Coastal Carolina played each other like years down the line, I was going to ask who you would root for, but I assume it would be the alma mater.
Coastal Carolina 100%. I want Coastal Carolina win by 100 points.
I was just trying to get some clickbait shit. I was going to clip that and send it into all the news sources in Carolina and just fuck you over, but that was a great answer, man. They've trained you well to respond to hard questions. This is what I was thinking about too. What's your you got a favorite uniform combination that you guys rock?
Oh, you know, I like a lot of our uniforms. We a couple of years ago we got the white helmets, and so when we go all white with the white helmets, that's a clean look. And you know, I love the teal's good. We like to do the different teal combinations, like teal jersey, black pants, black jersey, teal pants. But you know, if it's a day game, I'd say throw some teal in there, like teal and white or teal and black. But if it's a night game, I love going all black for the night games.
Yeah, all black is such a good uniform combination with any team. The teal, you guys have a really you have a cool color teal. Like the teal is a cool. I don't know why I'm wording this like I'm a child. Teal is a cool color. No, it's just you guys could have a very shitty accent color or whatever it's called. You know, some people have some weird ass colors, but teal's a pretty solid one. Now, what's up with the mascot, man? A gamecock?
No,
that's gotta be. It's a Chanticleer.
Chanticleer.
What the hell's a Chanticleer?
So it's so originally Coastal was way back in the day. Coastal was like a satellite campus in South Carolina, and so Coastal used to be they're the Gamecocks, and then so we kind of went off of that. Like I don't remember what year it was. It was a way long time ago when Coastal became its own university, and so kind of going off of that. And it's from a story that the Canterbury Tales. It's like a mythical rooster. The Chanticleers, yeah.
That's kind of cool. That's all right. I was going to kind of grill your mascot, but that's kind of cool that it's mythological. And I don't know why I thought it was the Gamecocks, because that's got to be a top 5 worst mascot name. Just for the memes.
South Carolina. We don't like them too much, so you can rip off the mascot.
All right, that's what I like to hear. Chanticleer. Okay, man. All right, I want to move into one of the final segments, and then we'll kind of wrap the podcast up here. This one is the actual Would You Rather segment of the podcast. So I got 2 more Would You Rathers for you. Are you a Star Wars fan?
I've seen the movies, yes.
Okay, that's what that works. Would you rather look like Jar Jar Binks or talk like Jar Jar Binks?
Oh man.
My sister came up to me and said this the other day, and it's been bothering me since, because I don't know which one's the worst choice out of it.
I mean, if you look like Jar Jar Binks, you could probably make some money off of that, because there's definitely not any person on the face of the planet that looks like Jar Jar Binks. But then again, you also probably don't want to look like Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, but also yes, you would be a very ugly thing if you looked like Jar Jar Binks. But also imagine if I was like, oh, Misa have podcasts. Me come on podcast. Yeah. If you talked like that, you're not gonna have any friends. I'm not, no one wants to talk to a person like that.
I mean, if I don't know how Jar Jar Binks would fare on the football field, so I'd probably want to look like myself and then talk like Jar Jar Binks and just never really talk.
Fair, bro. Hey, if I was going against you and you started talking shit like Jar Jar Binks to me, I'd lose my mind on the field. You know how intimidating that would be if you were just like, "You's a bitch. You's a bitch." Like just that'd be cool. Okay, I like your thought process with that, because I mean, I think Jar Jar Binks would be athletic on the football field. He does front flips and shit, and he can swim underwater. I think he would be. I don't know if he. I mean, he. I don't know.
Yeah, that is a tough question though.
Yeah, I guess I'd go with you and rather talk like him because you could just be a quieter person
Yeah,
and like at least at least you can go to the grocery store and just not
yeah,
say anything. Whereas if you went to the grocery store looking like him, it's gonna be weird.
they're gonna kick you out.
Yeah, they're gonna take pictures of you. Like imagine if you went to the grocery store right now and fucking Jar Jar Binks walked in. What would you do?
I'd probably run, to be honest.
That's the most appropriate response you could have had. All right. This is another one. Would you rather be stuck in like World War style trench warfare or fight in today's guerrilla warfare? And so this one messes me up because the trench warfare is, you got to sit in the trench, you move inches, like, 1,000 people die, so your trench moves like a foot up. And I don't know how much you know about this, but there were like rats the size
Yeah,
of dogs that would eat
yeah,
people and you get trench foot. But also imagine like if one of your homies in your platoon is like handed a grenade by a child and then he like blows up. Like they're both crazy shit that can happen in both of these.
what's the time frame? How long am I there?
Okay. That's a really good question. Let's say you got to do like you got to do 6 months a tour or whatever.
I'm gonna have to go with today's. I don't think I could. I don't think I could do the trench for 6 months. That's
It would be just like, I mean, think about how terrible fall camp is and then like times like a million. You know what I mean? At least you're not
yeah,
gonna die at fall camp.
yeah,
Oh yeah. Okay. Damn, man. Yeah, this one just is like tough because I agree with you. I don't know if I think I could handle the like turmoil of living in World War II and like there's not modern medicine. Things are worse where yes, a child might hand you a grenade, like you're fighting people who aren't like in uniform, but I feel like you never, you know what I mean? There's never like today there was a battle in Afghanistan, 700 troops died. Like it's like 4 troops died. Whereas in World War II, like every battle, like 1,000 people died and shit. So, okay. I think we figured this out. I think we got to go war in modern times for
yeah.
sure. Okay, man. So that's the Would You Rather segment. We got one more segment. I wanted to ask you a question or two more before we wrap the podcast up and all that. Could you, because I like to hear other athletes what their experience was like. What's kind of your guys' fall camp like? Do you think you could give like a quick overrun? I had my buddy AK on. He talked about Murray's, and I've talked about it too. And so I wanted to hear kind of like what Coastal Carolina's was like.
Yeah. So, like every, the worst part for me about fall camp is just like it's like you have meetings that are about the meeting that you're about to do, and then you have
Yeah.
meetings before practice, after practice, and then you come back and meet later. And it's like,
Mhm.
like I've been here for 3 years, and like I know the defense like the back of my hand. And I
Mhm.
think I've done the day one install like 12 times.
Oh, the
And
day one install is so brutal, dude.
and so I think we come in the morning and we meet, and we started I prefer practice in the morning way better than practice in the afternoon.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
we'll come in, and we usually meet, and then we'll lift, and then we'll go back and I think meet again, and then we'll go out to the field and we'll practice, and then we'll come back in and we'll eat, we'll watch practice, and then maybe we'll have a walkthrough, and then we'll have dinner, and then we'll meet again. And we our fall camp, like this past year with like COVID and everything like that, was way easier. Like the guys who are like freshmen now, they have no idea what like a real fall camp is like,
Yeah.
because like we missed out on a lot of like the summer conditioning stuff like that, because of like all the
Mhm.
COVID and stuff like that. And we missed like our whole like spring conditioning and stuff like that. And so like they didn't kill us. Like they knew we weren't in football shape, so like they didn't kill us. But like before, we've like 2 years ago we had some dog days of camp, and
Yeah.
in South Carolina it'll get to like 100 degrees with 100% humidity. Like it feels like you can like move the air. Like that's how thick it is. Like you're like walking in water.
I can't even imagine. Yeah, dude, the humidity is no joke, and it's not a thing we ever experience in California.
No, not at
Dude,
all.
how terrible is it? Like especially because in spring, do you guys do like morning conditioning and then go to class?
Yeah.
How terrible is it when you finish those workouts, you're sweaty as shit, you take a shower, and then because it's so humid, you're sweating by the time you get to your car. Like
As soon as you step outside, you're sweating.
it
You have to go take cold showers because like if you take a hot shower, by the time you go outside, you're dripping sweat.
yeah, dude, yes, it drives you insane. Like it's insanity that you finally are done and feel clean, and then yeah, literally the walk from your car to your car or that car to class will have you just dripping sweat, and it's so miserable.
It's awful.
Yeah, dude, fall camp's a tough one. It's weird because it's not physically exhausting by any means. It's the mental exhaustion of just, they kind of look for any excuse to keep you there. They're trying to keep your mind on football. I mean, we had like curfew checks at our apartment complexes. Like a coach would show up and you'd have to go out at 9 and tell him you were here and stuff. And we had like real strict stuff like that. And then even my last year, because how many days are your fall camps normally?
I think we usually, we do like the summer conditioning until like, so actually we do like, we'll get out, the spring semester will end with like May 5th or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And like our optional workouts will start like May 20th.
Yeah.
And so like we'll be there, like I'll go home for like 2 weeks probably, and then May 20th through when our season ends in December, January, that's like I'm there the whole time. And then like we'll do, I think the last week of workouts is like the last week of July, and then we'll usually report like by 29th for camp, and then it really goes until the week of the first game.
Okay. Oh wow. Yeah. Ours was, I mean, yeah, we started always like the 1st or 2nd of August, depending on kind of when it fell. And then yeah, it was always like, I think it was like my first year it was 16 days, and then my second year was 18 days. So it was about that. And they gave us Sundays off, but we had like mandatory church, mandatory meetings still, mandatory lunch, dinner, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it just drags on you guys. My senior year, there was like everyone went to Walmart and bought air mattresses, and our locker room was just filled with like twin air mattresses, and people would just nap and sleep in those in between meetings and all that. The one of the last questions I wanted to ask you was, I always find it interesting how athletes pick their numbers. Why 34? Is there a reason, or?
Well, it was kind of like at Loyola where I went to high school.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of like before me there was a guy I looked up to named Ruben Peters, who was the linebacker at Loyola. He wore 34, and then I wore 34 after him, and then and then from there, like that just kind of became my number. In JUCO, they didn't have, I don't think they had 34. I wore 11. And then when I got here, it was I wore 34. And then there was a moment in time where like people were like telling me, dude, you should wear a single digit. And then I thought about it, and then I just stuck with 34, because that's kind of like, I feel like once you pick a number and like you start to do well with it, like it's like you gotta make it like it's your number,
Exactly. Yeah, I totally get what you mean, because if like I've had numbers where like on years I didn't play in like early in high school, or like my freshman number that like I'm like I don't really care about, but those numbers where you start to do well in them, like you want them. Like I remember because I was 99 in JUCO, and then when I went to Murray, 99 was a quadruple X jersey, so it was just too big for me, and I was so fucking sad because I just had to pick. They just gave me a random new number instead. Okay, so yeah, that's cool that your high school has that kind of tradition of pass. I mean, whether it's not, it might not be the coaches who do it, but that the players have the tradition of passing down a number to kind of give respect and all that. Who's okay? So who's your favorite linebacker of all time? Then do you have like a favorite? Like my favorite defensive end always when I was playing was Von Miller. I'm a diehard Eagles fan, but Von Miller, like I just loved him growing up. I was 58 in high school, so I like that. And who's kind of your fave or your idol, I suppose?
Well, he just retired recently, but Luke Kuechly was always my favorite to watch because
Okay.
because he's definitely the guy who's just like the master of his craft. Like he's like the stories about him and like the film room and stuff like that, and like he'll be out in the field against NFL offenses, like just calling out every play.
Mhm.
And, that's something that every linebacker dreams of. Being like being so in tune, like be like, all right, they're running outside zone to the right here based off of like this guy's split or where this guy's lined
Yeah,
up. That's definitely some guy, that the guy who's like I think in my eyes, one of the best linebackers I've ever seen.
I got you. That's dope, man. Final question before we move into the final segment. I fucking just forgot it. Oh, what a tease, guys. I'm sorry, dude. I totally had a last question for you and it slipped my mind. I'll blame it on the CT. If it comes back to me, dude, I'll ask it. It was about football. God damn, dude, it's gone. It's with the wind. I'm fucking sorry, dude. Uh anyway, we'll move in then to the last segment. This one's just called The Last Resort Media, where like I'll tell the listeners like a movie or a show that I started watching, kind of put people onto a new movie, new show, new music, a new book if you're into books, that kind of stuff, and get people checking out new stuff. So for me, I'm not watching any new shows. I'm still finishing up the ones I told you guys about. Movies, I just watched Click again, which is just like a classic Adam Sandler movie. I think an underrated Adam Sandler movie. It doesn't get the same love as, it's, don't get me wrong, it's not anywhere near Happy Gilmore or Billy Madison and stuff like that, but Click is still in Adam Sandler's good movies. They're not part of his terrible movies that he makes later on. So for me, that was the only movie I watched. Any movies or music and stuff that you want to put anyone on?
Well, the movies I've watched recently, there's a Netflix movie called Below Zero. That was pretty good. I saw.
Okay.
And then I just watched with one of my roommates. We in the living room. We just watched Prometheus and Alien Covenant. Have you seen those two movies?
Yeah, those are dope.
Those are some pretty good movies. Definitely,
Yeah.
they get a lot of twists and turns in those movies.
Thrillers like that are fun. I love when movies like that, when it's been long enough that you forget them and you can go back and enjoy them. That's such an underrated feeling in life. I just had that happen not too long ago with Inception. Like I'd kind of forgotten the whole plot of it, and there's just some about you. Don't get me wrong, you can watch these movies, and if you're showing them to a new person, it's always fun. But there's just nothing better when it's a movie you love and you see it and you're like, I don't remember what happens, or like a show and you're like, I can go back and watch this again.
Yeah.
It's super fun. Anything else you want to shout out?
Not too much. I'm waiting for this Rod Wave album to come out, and
okay.
March 26th, I think is when that comes out.
That's he makes great like it's just I loved working out to his music. He was always on the playlist at Murray and stuff. So it makes, I guess, workout music. I don't know how to define music. I'm too white to sound like I know anything about rap music, but hey man, so this is the part of the podcast where I let people promote their stuff. I mean, obviously you're not an artist, but if you want a minute to promote your Instagram or Coastal Carolina football or anything like that, the floor is yours before I wrap it up.
I'll just say, check us out. Next season's going to be a show.
Coastal Carolina man. Football. Oh, I remember the question. What record are you guys going to have?
Next year, 14.
What's your record prediction? 13-0? Okay, I fucking love it. 14, all right, man. 14-0. Okay, my bad. 14-0. You heard it here. When you guys go 14-0, I'm going to tweet this clip at you, and it'll be sick, and I'll look like we predicted, or you just, I guess you, and I'll attach myself to it somehow, that we predicted the future. Thank you so much, man, for doing this. I really appreciate it. guys, make sure you go follow Teddy and check him out this season. Follow the team. You know, anyone that's on this podcast is now a friend of the podcast. So thank you for coming on, guys. I can't believe it's the 1 year episode. We've been doing this for 52 weeks straight. Thank you guys for listening. New listeners, if this is your first time or your 52nd time, I appreciate you. And most importantly, thank you for letting us be your last resort. See ya.
This has been a Your Last Resort production.